All right, so today I'm going to be cooking nice little trout fillet that I got a couple days ago. And method that I'm going to be using is cooking on top of this stone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this stone over this nice little fire that I've got right here, and it's going to get hot enough to cook the fish. So I'm going to set that up, and what that looks like is, sorry, smoke in the eyes. So I'm going to grab a couple of these rocks that are around the fire and just place a stone smack dab in the middle of it. And I don't know what was used to cook on these last, so I'm actually just going to take this stone and I'm just going to put it in the fire, side down that I want to cook on, and either side's pretty good, so I'm just going to stick this in here for now, and just get that hot, let everything burn off. Hopefully you can see behind me, I also have a big old pile of igneous rocks. So these are called glacial erratics. Same sort of rocks that I used to boil in my bark basket lid. These ones just happen to be bigger. And what I'm gonna do while my fish is cooking is I'm going to make a small rocket mass stove using these rocks, and I'm gonna fill in the cracks with some clay that I have behind me in this pit that I've dug for steaming food in pits. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a little rocket mass heater, and I'm going to boil some water on it. So that's the plan, and I'm just gonna make it right here. So the way that I'm going about looking at this is I don't want pieces of shale. Shale is no good. So essentially this is going to look like a sock standing straight up that has its toes cut off. So there's going to be an opening at the top that goes down vertically and connects to a hole going out horizontally. So it'll have like this L shape, like that. So essentially, I just want to get some stones that are about the same size and dimensions. The way that a rocket mass heater works is it heats up the stones and it creates an air tunnel through the stones to feed the fire, and the fire burns vertically. So it's a much more efficient means of fire, and you end up using less firewood overall, and it heats up whatever you're trying to cook a lot faster. So I've got the basic outline done. Let me take you over. I'll show you what I got going on. So it just looks like a pile of stones, which it is. And so this is going to be the foundation, and then right here is going to be where I'm going to start making the tower going up. So, let's see if I can get you balanced somehow. There we go. Now, working with round stones, never the easiest thing to do. Some people are way better at balancing things than I am. You just have to find what fits and how it best fits, and then just kind of lock it in there. You know, this is not Pyramids of Giza or Machu Picchu or anything like that. Definitely not a masterpiece. This is for survival purposes. You want to get these things locked in as you're going up. The hard thing is finding stones that are similar size. So around here, you have to just go into riverbeds and find these. We don't have granite just hanging out like they do up in the Adirondacks or downstate, down New York City, Westchester area. Most of our stones are shale, slate. So I'm actually using stones here around the edges to try to hold and prop these guys up. And so far, it seems to be working nicely. You really want to make sure that you have pieces of granite, because shale and slate will explode. Exploding rocks are not good. They shards of them can come out. I don't even know how fast they can shoot out, but it's really fast. I know people who have been injured by getting pieces of shale stuck in them. I'm gonna grab my cook pot. See how that fares. Definitely lopsided, so let's see how I can even this up. Okay, that's balanced on two sides. Let me get the third one to balance. That is spectacularly level for my non-geometrical skills. So I'm gonna grab some clay, get this thing taken care of. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what's going on here with our fire and our stone that I'm gonna start putting under there soon. Stay. Alright. So this thing is pretty hot. But it's cleaned it off. Just gonna go ahead and use some sticks to get this up here. Actually, I want to flip this around Reason being, just didn't like the way that the edge led into it. Alright, so gonna build this fire up a little bit more. One of the ways I like to build up fire is take all these little burned ends that just that burn off from the sticks. The fire's pretty concentrated in the center, and I'll just throw them on. Whew. Oh, that one's still going, that one's still going. All right, so I'm just gonna grab a few things and then start to get up to work on this. So I went ahead, gathered a whole bunch of twigs, not much bigger than what I'm holding now. See the green branch in my hand? This is some eastern hemlock, not poison hemlock, but eastern hemlock, which is a tree, and I'm going to use the branches to flavor my tea when I boil it. So I'm just gonna stick that on my pot. Yeah, so I'm ready to start raking some of these coals from the fire right underneath my flat rock cooking surface. So today's a really windy day, which is good and bad. So these coals are I'm actually going to move my whole fire closer. I just decided, or not my fire, my whole setup closer. Because it's so windy, it's going to be hard to keep the coals hot enough, long enough to cook my fish. But I'm gonna just start feeding some coals right under here. It's almost like an open door rocket mass heater. I really like rocket mass heaters, if you haven't been able to tell. I never thought of their practical significance until, I knew about them before I went to India, but in a way to just like heat your home. And you have like a giant barrel, and I don't know. But when I went to northern India, I got a little bit of olive oil here. Just gonna drizzle some on here. So when I went to northern India, people would heat their homes with rocket mass heaters, and using pretty much just twigs, which was really cool. So I'm gonna take my fish, put it scale side down, gonna wipe it in the oil a little bit, and just get it right on there. Have to keep an eye on this constantly. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there it is. So, camera stay. Camera does not want to stay. So I have to keep an eye on this constantly, making sure that there's always enough hot coals underneath. So that's what I'll be doing throughout the time as I'm starting to plaster my little makeshift rocket mess stove back here. So I'm just gonna come back here, grab some handfuls of clay. So this is not, hey Mr. Worm. So this is not pure clay by any means. This is right out of the forest. No, I just bumped this with my knee. So it's right out of the forest floor. Has leaves mixed in there. It's got a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, this just collapsed. So that's why we use the clay to help get things stabilized. Where's my other stone? It's not exactly it. That's close. Let me grab my pot again. You know, that'll work. It's not as good as I had it before, but it'll work for now. So, this clay, totally unrefined, which means that it has a lot of little stones in it. I'm hoping that these stones don't really explode when they start to heat up. If I had more time, I would take my tarp that you see behind me, spread it out on the ground, and just start refining this clay. I gotta go grab some more handfuls. That fish is really coming along right now. Clay is cold, but it's not as cold as it could be. It's fortunately not snowing today, so I have a little reprieve on the weather. Working with clay when it's cold is just, it is hard. Oh, that fish is looking good. It's coming along. Now it's kind of like a race against time. So, am I going to be able to finish getting this before my fish finishes? Stay tuned. You'll find out. All right. Great thing about clay is that you can just form it right into these little patches. I'm not doing the best job. This is kind of it's not a bang up job for sure, but this is how to build a rocket mass stove in 20 minutes or less. How about that? So, this mud is getting cold on my hands though. Come on out, little worm. No need for you to die today. Yeah, I know. I should save it for fishing, but alright, got a few holes left. That fish is coming along. I'm gonna have to get some more coals under there soon though. Shoving stuff into the last little bit, the cracks, hopefully the last little bit. Sure that there's something I haven't seen yet that needs attention. It's usually the way that it goes. Just checking for daylight. It's looking pretty good actually. Oh yeah, the fish is coming along. So I haven't actually fired a rocket mass stove while the clay is still wet. I hear that's possible, so we're gonna give it a try. Let's see. Just a couple little holes left. Wow. Alright, so this is not pretty, but it's tight. Oh, yeah. Alright, so just gonna get my hands a little clean. Fortunately, there's some green hemlock boughs right around here. not the ones that I'm going to be drinking from. All right. So let me show you what I'm doing. If I can. All right. So yeah, you can see the fish right here. It's beautiful white color right now. So I am going to just take coals that were in here, rake them out, and then rake in some other coals. Got this one blocking, don't like that. Gotta get him out. All right. So this is kind of a really quick job. Usually I'd want my fire to be built up longer, have a really good solid bed of coals, then I keep a fire going on one side while I get then I can continue to rake my coals in on the other side. But these coals are wicked hot, so I can get this thing burning quick. So if I want to get the fire going, I just throw in some twigs, and there's so much wind today, I don't even have to worry about it. This thing's gonna take off in a minute. Right now I'm just kind of stalling because getting my hands warm again. I could throw a few of these sticks on there. Now this fish is just about cooked. This fire is going to get raging in a minute. You can tell when fires are about to really go, because that smoke just starts getting thick and dark. And that's how you always know when a tinder bundle that you have from a friction fire is about to just like burst into flame. The thicker, the darker the smoke. So you can see plenty of smoke here. Changing wind is like really getting to me. All right. Got my fire back. Got my rocket mass stove behind me. This fish is looking really good. I mean, take a look at that. That's beautiful. I'm just gonna let it go just a little bit longer. It's almost to that flake position. I'm gonna go ahead and process some of this firewood. So part of the reason why everything's so smoky is we haven't had sun and warmth here in upstate New York in a while. Everything is just cold, gray, rainy. So a lot of these sticks that I'm using are pretty damp. And damp sticks just end up smoking a lot. What's actually happening scientifically is these sticks they have to heat up, the water has to burn out of them, and then they'll begin to catch on fire. And as they catch on fire, then they like all that stuff burns off of it, and then you're left with a dry piece of wood that will go up in flames. So I've got enough wood to start. I want to get my rocket mass going, and then get that starting to burn, and then we're gonna go find some water. So I grabbed a little wispy bundle here, very small, a lot smaller than I would normally use if I was starting a fire, but I already have a fire going, so I don't have to worry about that. And right now I'm just picking out the smallest pieces, the ones that I broke up, and get a little handful of them. So I'm gonna get this wispy bundle caught on fire. There we go. Oh man, this trout smells delicious! Okay, so I hope that worked. My wispy bundle just kind of started going up in flame really quickly as soon as it got in here. So I'm just really carefully adding some sticks, hoping that this is gonna get going. Yeah, it's starting to go. Oh, yep.